course, you would not have this problem.
Good morning, Washington!
Allows the water to flow in, the leaves to breathe, the pollen, they stay out of there, and then they're so sure that their system works that they actually give you a lifetime no clog warranty. If these things ever clog, which they won't, but if they were to clog somehow, LeafGuard will come out and clean it absolutely free of charge. Now, in the Washington, D.C. area, a lot of people now going through sequestration furloughs. LeafGuard understands it's a hard time for you, so they want to help you out. They're going to give you $500 off the water system for your entire home and 60% off installation.
Oh, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to Dave TV. Just listen to WMAL there. My favorite, Ryan Wilson, man. It's dark in here this morning. We're getting imbalanced showers. Oh my! Ooh. How you doing, everybody? It's the 3rd of July, 2013. So we're one day before, not the 4th of July. It's Independence Day. Okay, so anyhow, what's the big nose? The big nose. First off, let me get a drink. Tea. Okay, radio ratings came out for the third week of June, and a couple interesting little trends. We're noticing that Fresh 94.7 is going up, while Mix 107.3 is going down. Mix 103 lost they got rid of Jack Diamond a couple months ago. They now have Bert Weiss piped in from Atlanta in the mornings, and it doesn't seem to be doing a hell of a lot for the ratings. Cumulus, which is probably the most mismanaged radio cluster in Washington in terms of WMAL. Oh, it's such a mess of a station. And then you look at WRQX. Cumulus has a thing about they don't know how to run a big city station. It's like every radio station they run is like small market. They try to do everything small, but and they have these big markets that are unique. DC is a very unique market, and they're trying to run a cookie cutter kind of right-wingy station that would be great in Altoona. It's the motto. If you go down to the Cumulus headquarters there in Atlanta, they have an airplane that's like heading downward, about to crash. That's the logo for Cumulus. And it's called, and the slogan for Cumulus is, "We do radio like they do it in Altoona." Because they do. I mean, they launched this big country station in New York, kind of, and you look at the ratings now, it's just going to sag there and do nothing, because that's what they did. Now, I'm not saying it was Cumulus, it was Citadel, but that's the way they did with the 105.9 The Edge. Great radio station. They launched it, and then they never tweaked it, and they never did anything with it, and then there's some great people on it, and they just let it kind of like the airplane. Well, we're going down. Nothing we can do to stop it. Let's watch it crash. That's Cumulus for you. It'd be interesting to see what they do with Mix 107.3 now that Jack Diamond's gone and they're getting their asses beat by Fresh there over at CBS. I say redo the whole station. Get rid of the Mix logo. Go to back to Q107 or something different. Reimage the whole station, start over. If you want to do like a contemporary hit format to go after. I think a really cool format in this market would be a Spanish-English contemporary station. Have it just a bilingual, really super hits, Hispanic, English, some rap, Anglo, mix it all up, a Spanish-English, mix it all up, mix all the cultures up, throw in, the black, the Hispanic, the Anglo, pop, mix it all up, and make it bisexual. Have all bisexual DJs. No, have bilingual. Really go for that. I really think if they did something really bold like that on 107.3, they might really do well. But Cumulus is not that kind of a company. They're small market, well-worn radio, and that's what they'll do, so whatever. Anyhow, the new radio ratings, shocker, WNEW, the new CBS, all new, they're a year and a half old. Let's stop calling them new. Dave, Pull my beard. Stop calling them new. They're not new. They're a year and a half old. But anyhow, WNEW, 28th place in the money demo, 31st in mornings, 28th in middays, 26th in afternoons, 36th in evenings, 31st on weekends, tied with PFW at 28th place. So who's beating WNEW in the Washington market? WMAL's stream is. There are more people listening to WMAL on the internet that are listening to WNEW's broadcast signal. Who else are beating WNEW? Christian Contemporary WRBS in Baltimore is beating WNEW in Washington. There are more people in the Washington market listening to Shine 95.1 out of Baltimore that are listening to WNEW. WFRE in Frederick is beating WNEW. Wink FM in Chris Roth's little station there in Northern Virginia, up there in Winchester, is more people in the Washington market are listening to Wink FM than are listening to WNEW. That's not good. More people are listening to Baltimore Urban Contemporary station WERQ and WQSR. More people are listening to those stations in the Washington market than are listening to WNEW. So WNEW's a mess. They're not saying that, but they really need to do stuff. And the thing that you got to wonder is, why haven't they done anything? They've been on the air a year and a half now. And I was getting some emails from some folks at WTOP, who I do communicate with, and we were trying to figure out what the hell's going on at WNEW. And I said 6 things that WNEW should be doing. Okay, 6 things that they should have been doing a year ago. One is to reposition the station to cover its primary signal area. The transmitter's in Anne Arundel County. You say, okay, let's look at our signal area. Let's cover what we cover, So we do well into Baltimore. We cover a good chunk of Maryland. Let's make the station a lot more Baltimore news, a lot more Maryland news, because that's where our signal is. Maybe, go after saying we're Maryland's news authority, instead of maybe saying DC, and really going after that Maryland thing and pushing into Baltimore. And, that might be the way to do it, Or tweak the format to a hybrid news talker. Have your news cycles in the mornings and afternoons, and then maybe go to more of a local talk format the rest of the day. Don't have to go syndicated. Do like WPHT in Philly does with your own local talent. That's another CBS. But bring the PHT thing, 1210 out of Philadelphia. Bring that down to Washington. Kind of do what they're doing there. I don't know. You got to do something here. Add more live sports, including the Nationals. You have WJFK. Synergize the stations. Maybe more back and forth there. Put more sports on WNEW. Improve WNEW's dreadful website. It's that CBS template that looks like crap. WTOP's website is gazillion times better than WNEW's CBSDC.com. That needs a huge improvement. Again, we say this over and over again. WNEW needs to upgrade their promotional efforts via YouTube and Facebook and advertising campaigns. Get more slogans. Make the station sound cool. Get some really good sounders and build a whole image identity. Make it sound fresh. I don't know. They need to give it its own identity, just the way the station sounds. And then again, as I've said this before, work at improving the signal coverage in Northern Virginia. I've said this many times before. If you're looking at the Washington market, don't look at D.C. as the center of the market. Look at Fairfax County as the center of the market. Fairfax County has twice the population of D.C. That's another thing the Washington Post is making a big mistake with. D.C. is the center of the universe kind of thing. Well, yeah, it may be. But if you're talking about the Washington market, Fairfax County is the center of the Washington market. It's got twice as many people as D.C. That's where the ears are. That's where the eyeballs are. That's what you got to suffer. That's what you got to cover. So, you got to get a signal that's going to cover that. And they need to get, either buy a signal or flip their signals around or something. But if WNEW wants to succeed in this PBM era, they're going to need to do that. So I don't know. I'm back and forthing with WTOP the other day, and they were kind of chuckling the fact, WRBS is beating WNEW. And I said, yes, that's the truth. Oh, I never listened to WRBS. But I had to explain to them what WRBS was. But anyhow, so my WTOP source says, My WTOP source says what he thinks will happen is that CBS will eventually get tired of WNEW losing money and not being able to get any ratings traction, and that they will move El Zal back to 99.1 and then take 107.9 and put CBS Sports Radio on that frequency. It's no cost, no brainer kind of thing. Okay? The problem with that, and I said this, I said, first of all, CBS Sports Radio is already on 1580 and it gets no ratings anyhow. The problem with 107.9 is that it's really a Baltimore signal that's controlled by CBS DC. And I'm not sure that Dave Labrosi and Bob Phillips, who run CBS Baltimore, are going to like having an FM sports competitor to their 105.7 The Fan from CBS DC on 107.9, which reaches well into Baltimore. So basically you're having competition for 105.7 coming from their own company, but down in DC, CBS DC via 107.9, CBS Sports Radio, and they already have 1,300 carrying it in Baltimore. I said, that's going to be really awkward. I said, by putting El Zal on 107.9, CBS DC is now getting Spanish radio ratings in Baltimore, which is good because it doesn't cannibalize any of CBS's other stations. So you have CBS DC running a Spanish station in Baltimore. We're covering the Baltimore market that isn't cannibalizing, WLIF or WWMX Mix 106.5 or any of the other stations that CBS already runs in Baltimore. So Dave and Bob can be happy. I said it would make more sense for CBS simply, if they're going to get rid of WNEW, to keep El Zal on 107.9 and do something new on 99.1. Bring back HFS. Maybe put an oldies format on 99.1 or some kind of a jack format that's geared to Washington. 99.1, even though it covers Baltimore well, is transmitters in the Bowie area or Crofton. So it's more of a DC-centric station. So I think if they were to put an oldies format like WCBS FM or WOGL in Philly, that might be the way to go. You can do that fairly cheaply, and it's going to get, it's going to instantly triple WNEW's ratings overnight with, and what's the cost going to go? As I've said before, I've said this many times before, I like WNEW. I like the news format. I do occasionally listen to it. I think it sounds good, and they have good people working there. But the problem is, you got already killer WTOP, you got WAMU, you got WMAL for the kook pots out there. There's already a lot of talky stuff in the market, news talk. It's just, in order to make WNEW succeed, they need to differentiate it. Make it something that the other stations aren't, and they haven't been able to do that, and they're constricted with a bad signal that isn't covering it's not an inside the beltway signal. So that's the problem CBS has. Again, you need to do something that they're not doing in their other markets, and CBS, with their corporate radio structures, isn't capable of doing that, at least so we see. So anyhow, that's what I have to say about that. All right, folks, that's my Dave TV for the 3rd of July, 2013. You have a great Independence Day tomorrow. I will be going out with some friends, and I'm going to go see World War Z. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So have a great 4th of July. Dave TV. Adios, amigos.